I belong here. I don't think I fit in.
Oh, nonsense. Of course you do.
No, I mean it. I mean it. It's just somebody must have goofed if I gotta stay here another day.
Peace! It's Professor Griff, public enemy, the ex-minister.
Which means it's too strong.
Greetings. Let me make sure my microphone is absolutely intact here. Hold on for a second. Check 1 2 1 2. I think it's intact. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Peace, family. Greetings. All right. Peace, Quan. What's good with you? All right. Give thanks. The divine name is supreme being. I want to greet everyone. Peace, shalom, hotep, whatever greeting that you go by. I definitely want to greet you where you are. To my Muslim brothers and sisters that's observing the holy month of Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. For those that know what that means. If not, just take a quick second, look it up. All right, and just see what it means so you can educate yourself. All right, salute, Quan. What's good? Thank y'all very much for honoring me with your presence today. I really appreciate that. Y'all do me a favor for the sake of this show. Don't be looking at my background because yeah, it's kind of junky back there. But you know, you gotta do spring cleaning and you just gotta go through it. It looks ugly before it gets better. Anyway, for those that are fasting, for those that are keeping up with their prayers, for those that are keeping up with their meditation, for those like me that have the attitude like it's no one's business but it's between you and the Creator. No one's asking you to share any of those things. I'm not inviting you to do that, but I'm just saying. All right. Anyway, all right, let me dive into this quick commercial and I'll be right black at you. Really appreciate that. All right, let me see. All right, let's go.
If you have challenges in your life and need spiritual guidance, visit Inanna's Spirit Box on Etsy. Von B has over 20 years of experience in studying metaphysics and spirituality. She offers spiritual boxes, which involve candle rituals, spiritual baths, and consultations. Von B is excited to help you manifest your heart's desire with the spiritual tools of magic. All items are personalized and cater to your specific needs. Visit Inanna's Spirit Box on Etsy. In need of spiritual guidance? Contact her at 1-888-619-1999 and leave your name, number, and email address for her to contact you.
All right, I'm gonna play that one more time for the people the person that said that commercial is moving too fast. Bruh, put the candy bar down. You understand? Put the remote down because you're trying to multitask and you're not getting this. I'm gonna play this commercial one more time. Somebody hit me up last week when I played it and said they did. Listen, this commercial is 51 seconds long, so pay attention. All right, so it's very important that the people that really need this get this. So let's get it. Come on, fam.
If you have challenges in your life and need spiritual guidance, visit Inanna's Spirit Box on Etsy. Von B has over 20 years of experience in studying metaphysics and spirituality. She offers spiritual boxes, which involve candle rituals, spiritual baths, and consultations. Von B is excited to help you manifest your heart's desire with the spiritual tools of magic. All items are personalized and cater to your specific needs. Visit Inanna's Spirit Box on Etsy. In need of spiritual guidance? Contact her at 1-888-619-1999 and leave your name, number, and email address for her to contact you.
All right. I played it twice for that individual that just kind of didn't get it. But sometimes we have to do that. It's a beautiful thing. Today we're going to be talking about the FBI hired violent felons. It says felon. I am saying felons, plural, simply because this is the only one that got caught. And you know there was many more. All right? This is not the last time they did it, and this is not the first time they've done something like this. Shout out to Quan. Thanks for the reminder, Quan. If you would like to advertise right here, your business, your event, whatever, just hit me up at 678-557-2919. If you would like to support independent black media, you can donate or give your offering. Just hit me up at 678-557-2919. Quan, can you put my Cash App in the chat so people can see it? It's simply $ Professor Griff. If you still trying to donate Captain Crunch coupons or food stamps, yeah, I don't know if any of those methods would work. Y'all got to hit us up, and we'll kind of take it from there. Really appreciate that. Anyway, diving right in. Thank you, Quan. Diving right into this particular subject. I'm going to act as though we already knew this, because guess what? We should have, because this is an entirely old trick, taking us way back into the days of J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI, back dealing with COINTELPRO. The idea now of the FBI planting people in, they say, black organizations. The COINTELPRO said black organizations, but a lot of the organizations wasn't necessarily black. There was a rainbow coalition of freedom fighters that some Black Panthers, Fred Hampton Sr. talked about that, and other black leaders talked about. So the idea of it being a black organization, yeah, I can understand that from the surface, because that's how it started out. But planting these individuals, now it's very critical, some of the individuals' makeup that they planted, which is a very critical thing. But the idea of the COINTELPRO, which is the counterintelligence program, J. Edgar Hoover's counterintelligence program of the FBI, the United States government, if you don't know what that is, all right, please look it up right now. COINTELPRO. All right, the FBI began COINTELPRO, and COINTELPRO is short for counterintelligence program, in 1956, because they looked forward and they saw what was about to happen in the turbulent 60s. And in the turbulent 60s, it did go down. All right, they wanted to disrupt the activities of the Communist Party of the United States. A lot of people didn't buy into the whole two-party system, the communist way of thinking and the communist way of life. A lot of brothers and sisters were leaning towards Marxism, all right, more leaning towards the Communist Party. There's a book I read called Pawns in the Game, where it kind of outlined the Marxist theory. And the Marxist theory, of course, you know, Karl Marx was probably not even responsible for the book that he wrote. I'm just going to put that out there. So if we're talking about understanding the idea of the Hegelian dialectic principle, we have to talk about the thesis, the antithesis, or the antithesis, and the synthesis. All right. If Karl Marx was the thesis and the antithesis to that was Karl Ritter, what was the two opposing forces that they want to kind of trap people in between? Marxist was one of those particular theories, and a lot of black people in America, Francis Cress Welsing, and a lot of the Black Panthers and other people studied, even Dr. King studied Marxism, all right, and picked up that particular philosophy simply because capitalism was oppressing people at every front. And since they wouldn't let us in to those capitalist circles, if you study a little bit deeper, follow me on this next point, family, and I'm gonna pause so you can go look it up. The capitalists invented communism. Take a deep breath. Take your time. Don't stop running your mouth. Stop typing. Start thinking. The capitalists created the boogeyman, the communists. The Communist Party. Who were those individuals that started the Communist Party? Where were those individuals studying at prior to going back into Russia and setting up that whole idea of the Communist Party? Who were those individuals? It was expanded, the Communist Party of the United States government in the 1960s. It was expanded to include the number of domestic groups, members of the KKK and members of the all the way right. All right, the Socialist Workers Party, mixed with some Black Panther Party members. All COINTELPRO operations were ended in 1971. But anyway, although limited in their scope, about 0.2% of the FBI's workload over the 15-year period, COINTELPRO was later rightfully criticized by the Congress and the American people for abridging First Amendment rights and for other reasons. This is after untold amounts of deaths, untold amounts of Black people being imprisoned. All right. Now, right to the point. If the COINTEL, the counterintelligence program teaching the FBI's war on Black freedom movement, is not understood by the modern day organizations like the Black Lives Matter movement, if those individuals will not sit down and sit still long enough to listen to some of those now elders that have already been through this, what are we doing, fam? You said Vladimir Lenin. Where was Lenin at prior to going to Russia? Talk to me. Come on. Come on, fam. Fears of renewed FBI abuse of power after informant infiltrated Black Lives Matter movement. This was a paid informant, an ex-con, a felon that was on the FBI's payroll. They described her when talking about her simply because she had to take the stand to corroborate one of the lawsuits that entered into the court system. This is how they described her, if I can remember the story. Happened a minute ago. They said that she had rainbow-colored hair, green and red and pink hair. They said she was pasty-looking. They said she claimed to be a sex worker. All right? She went by the name of Chelsea, I think. One of these cute little pink pony strip club, cute little white stripper names. All right? They said she had enormous boobs, big tits. Now, this is how they describe it, not me. I don't know the woman. I'm just saying. All right? That's how they described her, simply because they had instructions on not to arrest her because she was working with the FBI. All right? Outraged Senator Ron Wyden urges agency to explain tactics from 2020 protests reminiscent of the rogue behavior from decades past. They are still, now listen, from the article that I just read you a few minutes ago about they disbanded and ended the program in 1971, and here we are in 2020, and they're using the same tactics all over again. All right? So now, the idea of snuggling up next to Black Lives Matter protesters, having private meetings with some of them, asking them, do they want to purchase weapons? All right. They got feds written all over. They got alphabet boys written all over it. Why are we still falling for this kind of nonsense? I think we're still falling for it simply because we haven't learned the lessons of the recent past. All right? Okay. I think my stream is frozen. Hold on. Okay. So what are some of the trappings and the traps that they use to snare? Well, the idea of them considering the left, all right, considering the left violent, and I guess the right would be the Nazi knuckleheads or those that sympathize and empathize with the right wing, like ideology, so to speak. Now, I explained several shows ago, what do they mean when they say left wing and right wing? All right, we don't have time to get into that right now. But if you are out there protesting, regardless of what organization you belong to, once you get to the level of having to become violent, right, then you've actually given up the fight. You've actually conceding defeat. Because at that point, you're saying nothing else works but throwing Molotov cocktails or purchasing weapons or busting out windows. All right? So let's press the pause button and let's think. Who were those individuals at the Black Lives Matter protest busting out windows and throwing bricks and tipping over police cars and burning them? Positive soul, peace. What's good with you, Queen? Who were those individuals? Who were those groups? We need names, Quan. Come on, help me out. Feds deliberately target Black Lives Matter protesters to disrupt the movement. All right? Federal government deliberately target Black Lives Matter protesters via heavy-handed criminal prosecution in an attempt to disrupt and discourage the global movement that swept the nation last summer in the wake of Minneapolis police killing of George Floyd, according to the new report released Wednesday by the Movement for Black Lives. Okay, so now, if funding for the Black Lives Matter movement came from who we now know as a character named George Soros, right? Why was the Black Lives Matter heads encouraged to study Marxism? Mr. Philip Young, sir, thank you very much. Really appreciate the donation. Come on. You see, in order for us to, we don't even have to do decoding. It's not even a decoding kind of thing because a lot of it is not hidden. All right. Thank you very much for clearing that up, Dana Ward. Antifa. I mean, we already know this now. Antifa purposely infiltrated the Black Lives Matter protests. All right. Showed up at every Black Lives Matter. Somebody was tipping them off from the inside. They were the ones bringing truckloads of bricks and bottles and making Molotov cocktails and busting out windows and setting police cars on fire. All right. Like they're doing right now at Cop City here in Atlanta, Georgia. Right now as we speak. Like literally right now. All right, great filibuster. Peace, man. What's good with you, bro? So we should not fall for the same old trick. All right. If the Black Lives Matter heads who received in their coffers large sums of money, all right, to do whatever the program was, whatever the strategy was, whatever the plan was. I wasn't at the private meetings. I don't know. Maybe y'all could tell me, whoever was at the meetings. I don't know. All right. So now, it's not that hard to infiltrate a Black Lives Matter protest. You just show up at the Black Lives Matter protest and you do whatever you do. All right. And now that we know that it was laced and honeycombed with FBI agents, with Antifa, and with other people causing all of the damage and blaming it on who is that? Is that one of the names of the individual? Help me out, Jody. They simply targeted the Black Lives Matter movement for several reasons, but one of the main reasons was the fact that they had a Marxist ideology. All right. I'm not saying some of the things they were doing and protesting for, I'm not saying that they didn't have, did. Thousands of people. Grow Lansing, I didn't know. Where's that information at? I don't think every protest ended up in a riot. I think it was just the ones that they showed you. Because I was traveling the country and Black Lives Matter was protesting, but it didn't end up in a riot. All right. Shalom, good brother. How you feel? All right. So let's understand the dynamic and how this thing kind of panned out. Or did it pan out? All right. So this individual was up in the ranks, up in the space, having private meetings, asking individuals to buy guns, to buy explosives, and this kind of thing. And if they didn't, they said, well, we can provide it for you. Just, the organization needs a boost. The organization needs incidents. The organization needs, and this is reminiscent of what happened during the COINTELPRO, how they set up the Black Panther Party. All right. So we have to understand this dynamic and learn from the recent past and not fall for the same tricks. How is it, though, that we can weed them out? It's very difficult. Nearly Fuller said, white supremacists and racists and white supremacy plays both sides of the fence. All right, both sides of the conflict. Both sides. They'll create it, and then they'll work against it, and then they'll benefit from it. The Hegelian dialectic principle, like I said earlier. All right? Kwan says again, George Soros plays both sides. He's been doing that since he came into his billionaire status. That's how he makes his billions. All right? And this is a very real subject and a very real dynamic, and we have to look into it a lot deeper. But in looking into it, we have to look into it through a different kind of lens. All right? Let's clear away the smudge that may be on the lens that we're viewing this through. Let's take a step back out of the circle and have a look at it. Not only Antifa, there was other groups that came in and hijacked the movement, the Black Lives Matter movement. All right? And then all we're programmed to say is, well, they took the money and did X, Y, and Z. But come on, it's a lot deeper than that. So we have to understand the dynamics and how this thing unfolds. And does it only affect those individuals that are in the Black Lives Matter movement? Or does it affect the rest of us? Did the Black Lives Matter movement do anything for black people? Did Antifa do anything for black people? Someone sent a message about the George Floyd, blah, 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 blah. I think it was a lot larger than George Floyd. I think the death of George Floyd was the catalyst for some of this to kind of set the spark, so to speak. Because since the Rodney King incident, a lot of us forgot. And had to be reminded. Gerald, you said full background checks, but who you got to get the background checks from? These people are not stupid. If you start background checks, then they'll just plant somebody there to give the green light to the agent. We have to be smarter than that. Not to say that you're not. I'm just saying thanks for the suggestion, but I'm not sure if that would work. J. Edgar Hoover's FBI's infamous director ran rampant, instructing agents to expose, disrupt, misdirect, discredit, and otherwise neutralize dissenting political groups in the United States of America, especially African-American ones. Under the vast counterintelligence program, COINTELPRO, which ran from 1956 to 1971, informants were used to infiltrate the civil rights movement and the Black Panthers, going so far as to blackmail Martin Luther King in an attempt to cajole him into killing himself. So they played both sides of the fence. Set Dr. Martin Luther King up with a couple of chicks. Recorded him. Filmed him smoking and all this other kind of shit. Just trying to destroy the man's character. Putting people around him to write speeches and to do whatever. But this is how they work, family, and we have to learn from what happened with Dr. King, what happened with the Black Panther Party, what happened with Fred Hampton Sr. I think there's a movie out now called Alphabet Boys. Alphabet, the movie, it is. This is the movie, the film Alphabet Boys reveals that in a chilling echo. Let me let y'all see this. Hold on. I'm just reading it, and y'all can read along with me. Hold on. All right, hold on. Something is happening with my... Wow. All right. All right. Here we go. Let me see. It says, if the allegations are true, the FBI's use of an informant to spy on First Amendment protected activity, I'm going to say that slow, First Amendment protected activity, peaceful protests, all right? The FBI's use of an informant to spy on First Amendment protected activity and stoke violence at peaceful protests is an outrage of abuse of law enforcement resources and authority. Wyden told The Guardian. Wow, this brings to mind several weeks ago. I had an interview at LaGuardia Airport by someone that was writing for The Guardian. But anyway, yeah, it just brings something to mind. Anyway, Wyden sits on the State Intelligence Committee, which has the overview over the federal intelligence gathering agencies, including the FBI. He also fought for the public disclosure of Donald Trump's deployment in 2020 of more than 750 officers to his hometown of Portland, Oregon, based on what he called politicized and false intelligence reports. The FBI's infiltration of Black Lives Matter in Denver appears to show another instance of Trump administration trampling on the rights of Americans in order to divide the country and gaining a political advantage. Right? It says the FBI owes the public a full accounting of its actions, including how anyone responsible for attempting to entrap and discredit racial justice activists will be held accountable. They should be held accountable. Youssef, you're absolutely correct. And that's where the focus should be. All right. 1/6, we're going to call it. January 6th at the Capitol, at the White House. All right. The new revelations of alleged FBI abuse towards Black activists comes at a paradoxical moment, given the efforts of the incoming Republican House leadership. On Thursday, Jim Jordan, a staunch Trump loyalist from Ohio, declared the opening hearing of the subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government. All right, the federal government was weaponized. All right, skipping down now, drawing on hours of undercover FBI recordings along with internal FBI reports and interviews conducted genuine racial justice protest leaders, alphabet boys pieces together how Windecker unveiled himself into the Black Lives Matter movement, May of 2020. Wait a minute, you talking about a gentleman riding around? I remember the story. Riding around in a goddamn... This is Ramadan. I'm supposed to be watching my mouth. Riding around in a station wagon full with guns, going to Black Lives Matter protests and meetings, and no one breaking into the car stealing guns, and no one arresting this guy, police not pulling this guy over, not even questioning him. Windecker, who the FBI paid $20,000 to spy on the activists, stood out from the crowd. How did he stand out? He was a big, fat, white... Never mind. Windecker, who the FBI paid $20,000 to spy on the activists, stood out from the crowd. He was white. If it's a Black Lives Matter movement and black people are supposed to be this violent group that did whatever, how the big fat white dude gonna be in the crowd and nobody says anything? Like, no one says, hey, who's the big fat white guy? The balding guy, you know them guys that show up, his shirt stops right here and the rest of his gut hangs out with flip-flops on and old shorts and the Hawaiian t-shirt with the glasses hanging off his nose like this, balding with the straw hat on with guns in the goddamn car, FBI written all over his forehead. He was white. And while most protesters in Denver were African-American, sometimes he dressed in military fatigues. He drove an ostentatious silver hearse with a boot filled with AR-15 style semi-automatic rifles and other firearms. A white dude at the Black Lives Matter movement. Despite the glaring profile, Windecker managed to convince activists that he was committed to the struggle for racial justice and could help them cope with the volatility on the streets. He bragged about having served with the French Foreign Legion and the Kurdish armed forces and troops, and shut up. Soon as somebody starts talking like that, and you see the fake tattoo on their arm, like if you study the pictures of the people that's supposed to be in ISIS, them cats are right from goddamn Michigan and Alabama and Tennessee. He told the Black Lives Matter leaders, I can teach you how to shoot a gun. I can teach you hand-to-hand combat, all the way up to like blowing up fucking buildings and guerrilla warfare tactics and sabotage. This is what he offered the Black Lives Matter movement. Most, 99.9% of the Black Lives Matter people, especially the heads, said no. He snared one or two people that just wasn't about that life. And if you are, you're not getting caught up in nothing like that. There was another agent. Hold on. There was another agent who infiltrated Black Lives Matter movement. The one I talked about earlier. You know, the big titty chick with the blonde, blue, green-colored hair. Chelsea, the stripper, the porn sex worker who infiltrated the left, Black Lives Matter movement. How is it now that if you're the Black Lives Matter movement, 99.9% of the people there are black, and white people are able to just walk in and join the movement and everything is hunky-dory? Come on, man. You stuck, thank you, Quan. Just stuck out like a sore thumb. I mean, should you have not have said something if he walked up with condoms coming out of his ears? Should somebody say something like, bruh, I mean, that's a new style or something? How does that work? Like, what are we doing here? Nobody saying anything? Just to let y'all know, there are efforts right now, and I'm not sure if it's coming from the left, the right, or the aisle in between. I don't know if it's the blue people or the red people. We don't know who it is. Right now, they're infiltrating the transgender movement, and they're putting people among them to commit violent crimes. I guess to slow that progress down or to do whatever. But it's been happening. It's the same trick. All right? But guess who they're going to blame it on? Remember a minute ago, they started saying these what got arrested? Where's your accounting to the people? All right? The people should be holding you accountable. All right? Well, they're scrambling the signal. It's going to freeze. They're muffling the sound. They're redirecting the URL. All of the normal tricks that they use. Like I said, it's not even a deep subject, man. Thank you, Travis X. The latest mass shooting was committed by a female who was transitioning to male. 3 9-year-old children and 3 adults were killed. This is how it works. This is how it's going down. Come on, fam. Anybody would like to add on? You counting the number of agents in the room? Thank you, Quan. This is what they do. I don't even know if it's an algorithm that does it, or when certain words pop up, you know, they send the scramble signal out. You know how it works, Quan. All right? All right, family. I think they've scrambled the signal enough to the point where I'm just on here now. All right. All right, Quan. So check this out. Starting, I'm going to try to start May 1st, May Day. All right. I'm going to be starting a new thing over on Twitch. All right. I'll send out my Twitch information to everybody. Scribes we're going to be diving into different speeches where in different lectures where you can hear these individuals for yourself over some beats, over some music. It should be a beautiful thing. All right. Some dialogue, some conversation. Let's make it happen. All right. Quan, I'll send you the Twitch information, and I'm going to do a test run prior to May 1st, and then we'll make it happen after that. Family, this is your brother, Professor Griff. I can't apologize to them people for scrambling the signal, but it's a subject matter that's very important. Be very mindful if you're going to join these protests, whether on or offline. All right? Be very mindful of what you commit yourself to. All right, it's Professor Griff. Love y'all to life, fam. I will see y'all on Thursday, inshallah. All right? Peace, shalom, assalamu alaikum. Be the best person that you can be, man. Revolution is not an event, it's a process. All right, serious minds attract serious minds. Seriously. Salute, fam. Peace.
Warning. Self-destruct sequence has initiated.
We just received some very disturbing news from Washington. That
Check out Plant-Based BK on DoorDash. Create your own playlist from our winter soundtrack. Turn up the bass.
Greetings, peace and love, and welcome to Smile Pharmacy Apothecary. We've been here since 2019, and although times have changed and healthcare has evolved, our traditions of compassion and professionalism thrives on. You are always at the heart of what we do. Smile Pharmacy, we heal. Visit us today online or in store at smilepharmacy.com.
50 million. That's how many people in the U.S. suffer from chronic pain. Many turn to opioid painkillers for relief.
The evidence is not at all clear about the efficacy of these drugs long-term for chronic pain.
Mayo Clinic pain management specialist Dr. Mike Hooten says what is clear about these painkillers is the risk associated with taking them.
The problems of addiction, but also a related problem of accidental overdose deaths.
Keep your body in motion with Little Goddess's Pain Potion on littlegoddessapothecary.com.
Which means it's too strong.
Griff, public enemy, the ex-minister.